What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Rewind with Free Kenya. I'm so sorry I have been behind on making videos. I know it's been a month since my last full video. I have been trying to make shorts, but I'm a working mom trying to be a full-time YouTuber and content creator, but I make content for other people, so it's kind of hard. But enough with the excuses. Let's get into this video. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I discuss movies, specifically bios, because I love bios, but I just love black movies, black culture, entertainment, current events, and things of that nature. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, share your thoughts on what's going on. So on social media, like the conversation right now, and for the past week when I initially was going to do this video, the conversation has just really been about this Dahmer movie, and I was just like kind of annoyed because I feel like there are so many other people who are more worthy of having their story being told versus us continuously talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, enough already. Like, I'm sick of hearing about Dahmer, especially when you know of the victims and the people that he really impacted. Like, as you can see, his sister, the victim of one of the sister of one of the victims, was speaking out about how this is traumatic to see like her story being played out, and it's just for entertainment at this point instead of really being informative. Because I can see another documentary, especially one that does shed light on like the neighbor or just other people who are impacted by Jeffrey Dahmer, but to continue to kind of, it glamorizes almost, because you have an actor who's a very talented actor, but like nobody needs to see this shit anymore. It's old, and I'm over the entire thing of us discussing Dahmer. Like, I really think we need to move on into other people, and that's why I wanted to make this video, which is sort of a countdown. It's something a little different that I would like to do with some other things, but again, I'm still new in my YouTube game. So in this video, I really wanted to talk about people who I think are more deserving of having their story told versus a psychopath like Jeffrey Dahmer. And I didn't make this in my other video, any disclaimers, but these are just my opinions based on just my views, and that is it. So to get this list started, I have to start, and it's going to be all over the place. It's not in just one era or one, type of person. It's more like entertainers, but these, of course, are black entertainers as well. But I have to start with Jodeci. So if you know me, you know I love me some Jodeci. Diary of a Madman. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I shouldn't have been listening to that as a kid, but when you have older siblings, like, it happens. But I would love to see the behind the scenes of Jodeci and really get into like how they first started. Like, if you watch some of their unsung or any behind the scenes with them where they talk about when they first came to New York and just their like humble beginnings of working with these different artists, some of their personal relationships, because they've had some drama. And they've had some just like made for TV stuff with Devontae and the almost kidnapping thing that he had. Like, they just have a lot that I feel like would be amazing to cover, especially when you have all four members alive and able to tell their story. So I would love to see a Jodeci bio, like similar to New Edition. I always reference that because to me, New Edition got it right. So again, not in order, just going all over the place. The next person I would like to see have a bio, Maya Angelou. So if you're younger, you might just know her in the like older aspect, or just like seeing her, hearing her voice. One, that iconic voice, or seeing her in the Tyler Perry movies, or just that version of her. But Maya Angelou has had a prolific career. So of course she was an award-winning poet, but she started out entertaining. She was doing the calypso dancing. She was the first black female streetcar conductor in San Francisco at only 16. She was a young mom. She has the traumatic portions of her story that I won't get into, but like the story that she has that's spanning over decades, it's phenomenal. Like, we need to see stuff like this where you're seeing someone, again, humble beginnings, but who becomes this prolific person who's a part of history forever now. Like, there will never be another Maya Angelou. And what is this, number three? I really didn't want to do numbers, but I guess I will do numbers. Number three for my list. And again, I told you guys, this is all over the place because I don't know how I went from Jodeci to Maya Angelou. Now I'm going to the Hot Boys. Cash Money. Because if we could do both, I'll take both. But I really would like to see the story of Birdman and his brother pulling together the Hot Boys, pulling together Manny Fresh. And I watched some behind the music things on them, but to really see their story from their points of views also, because again, you have it where all of the members are still alive. And that's so important to be able to hear people's actual story. I would love to hear Lil Wayne talking about being like a child prodigy almost, because he was so young when they started. Hear Juvenile, because he was a little older and had a different view, and talk about their life in New Orleans. Like, it would be really, really nice to have that point of view, especially from a rap group, because we have seen it with a few of the R&B groups. But to see the rap group get into it, I'm here for it. Now I'm going to Nat King Cole. So Nat King Cole, just so smooth. Like, I would love to see something that is really a timepiece where you're in his era, where he's not just talking about the trauma of racism, but you're also seeing how he was soaring as a dark-skinned man in his time period, in breaking barriers, getting his show, doing these performances all over the world. And then he lost his life so early into cancer. Like, there was such an early death. I think if we could really see his beginning, see the performances, see the style, because he was so sophisticated, like, that would be an amazing story. That would fall more into the styling of probably like the Temptations movie, but it would be just amazing. And if you could find an artist who could be so smooth with that voice, like, I'm watching it, I'm tuning in. I don't care how many parts it is, I'm tuning in. So someone else who kind of had a short life as well, Tammy Terrell. I would love to see a Tammy Terrell movie, and I know there have been talks with Kat, I'm sorry, I blanked on her name that fast, but to see a movie about Tammy Terrell and the things that this woman went through at an early age. Like, she had to grow up so fast. I mean, she was touring so young, and the stars that she dated, and although she had some abusive relationships, she had dated James Brown and David Ruffin. Like, Tammy was everywhere. You know, she was right in the midst of all these explosions of the musical icons that we know of today. Her partnerships in singing with Marvin Gaye, like, she was there and she was the moment. So to really see in action, I really hope that they could find someone who really fits her, though, because from what I've read and seen in interviews with people that know her, she was a firecracker, and she had this beautiful personality, and she knew how to stand up for herself. And I think it would be good to really see that on screen, and not just kind of showing the abuse or anything like that. Like, okay, you know, we want to know the true story, but I think in getting away from just the traumatic points and really showing the personality, that will make a great bio for Tammy Terrell. Next, another one that I've seen some talk about, a movie about their life, Teddy Pendergrass. So when I watched the Teddy Pendergrass biography that I believe is on Amazon, and they just really talked about his life and his beginning, his relationship with his mom, his relationship in Philadelphia, some possible connections to like the mob. Like, oh my goodness, I was watching that documentary. Like, if we could have this on screen as a movie with a really good actor portraying him, with actual rights to the music, someone to play his manager who's also his ex-girlfriend, and the senseless murder that took her life. Like, so much was happening around him. Then later when he got into the car accident, and how he was telling the person in the car, allegedly, from what they said, that he don't let them kill him. Like, he was fearing some of the officers in the area. Like, it was a lot. And when I watched that documentary, so I think if we could see that and get some other views based on these other things that have been out about him, to really showcase who he was, even if it's from the children, because he had children, I think he was back to back, or kind of like Gerald Levert, where they had kids like in the same year by different women. But to really get into the life of who Teddy Pendergrass was, because we hear the music, and I know from when I was younger, my mom would say like he was so handsome, and I've seen his live performances, videos of them, and how he had the women just in awe. Oh, like that would be beautiful. Like I know they said Tyrese. I think he wanted to play that part, and Tyrese can be annoying, but I could see him as far as the look possibly. I think there are some other artists that we may want to look at for that, but yeah, I would love to see a Teddy Pendergrass bio. Next, Sam Cooke. Like, I again watch the documentaries, so the documentaries talking about Sam Cooke. I think if you actually see the movie, you can get way more detail. And then even in watching like the Aretha movie, that really touched on some points of her background that I think they will be able to tweak into seeing his background, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. So by him starting off in that gospel circuit, I think he had a very, very different view of life and him being kind of a gospel star before he became a mainstream star. Like, he's getting both sides of the coin. And then of course he had a tragic death, and then the controversy after his death, but also in what's been highlighted in other movies that feature like points about him or even figures about him, his relationship with Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali in the movie. Geez, you guys, I got mom brain. But to see kind of the different people that he's connected with, like I already mentioned Aretha Franklin, and just different people in the church. And then of course the Womacs, because that's another one. I would like to see a movie about these Womack brothers, because child, they allegedly were messy. And like when looking at different videos about them, whether the unsung that I watched on Bobby Womack, I was like, goodness, this man was really living a life. But it did give me some more insight into his professional career, because I knew more about the messy side. And of course I got to shout out again Ashley Says So, because she just our video on Mary Wells touched on the relationship with Cecil Womack and blanking on the other brother, but the brothers who Mary had a relationship with. So just seeing all the brothers, because they also performed in the gospel circuit and also mainstream and with other groups and production and different things like that, to really see their story again, I think could be in the style of like the Temptations, where you have the parts and then you're just seeing kind of everybody's viewpoint and everybody's perspective. I'm here for it. Like, I would love to be able to tap into that and see what's going on, especially when you have timepieces like that. Anyone, like I said, with Nat King Cole, Tammy Terrell, Sam Cooke, that time period of getting into like the 50s and the 60s, they're beautifully done when they're done the right way. And then let's get into Rick James. So again, I'm naming a lot of people that I watched documentaries on them, which really makes me like, can someone do a movie? I don't know who you could have to play Rick James, because who can really embody Rick James? Like, to me, Rick James is a musical genius in terms of just him having an ear and him having that. I don't even know how to say it, but you have to have a certain thing in order to create a certain thing. And I really think he just had it. You can't really put a price on it. Like, he had it for creating music for other people also. But in watching his documentary, seeing like how he started and the things that he was exposed to as a child, like he just had a lot happening in his early life and with his parents, and him going to Canada and doing things there and working with different groups there, and his relationship with Motown. Just Rick James was all over the place, but that's a story that we need to see, like a 5-parter probably, because he spanned for so many years too. And then I'll make this the last one, but I would love a Supremes movie or bio, because we've had more speculative like movies and interpretations, whether there is the stage plays or whether even Dreamgirls, who it's always been the talk that it's like loosely based on the girl groups of the era. But if you really look at it, you know that it's about the Supremes. Like, come on now. We see it. You see it. But I would like an actual movie on the Supreme. So again, if you know me, I am a huge Diana Ross fan. I love Diana Ross. Like, she's my fairy godmother in my head. So I would love to see her get her story out. Unfortunately, Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard are no longer living. So that would be, missing a component. And I really wouldn't want anything to be one-sided. As much of a fan as I am of hers, I like things to have everyone's story. So with most of the people on the list that I just said, they aren't living, but they do have documentaries that touch on, like with Teddy Pendergrass, you hear his actual voice on certain things with like recordings. Or you can see like people's writings that people actually like told their story. Even with Tammy Terrell, though she died early, she had like videos, and people could really see her words and see what she wanted to convey about herself at the end of her life. So to really like have the person telling their story, I think is the most important. And I want to get into that on my next video that I have about really the credibility of bios. So I'll get more into that. But let me know your thoughts. I want to know, who do you think is more deserving of a bio? Like, whose bio would you like to see up next? Because I named quite a few on this list, but let me know who I'm missing on the list, or who has a bio that maybe needs to be redone. Because I said that on the DeBarge video, it needs to be redone. But I really want to know your thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, share it, help grow my community, and I'll be back soon with another video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.